How's everybody's weekend going? Hopefully good. We got a big week ahead of us in the markets. Sorry, I gotta turn my music down. Alright, so I'm live on YouTube. Oh, gotta turn that down. Alright. So, let's talk about the markets. Let's talk about this week. Usually I like to do a little top-down analysis, especially on a Sunday as a trader. I want to kind of get an overview of what happened last week and maybe get an idea of levels to watch going into this week. Direction might help us pick direction, that kind of thing. I'm going to start out with the S&P here. So look, we talked about losing this 5,200, oh, for 6,500. I'm sorry. About 6,500 up to down to about 6,400. We were saying this is a level we gotta hold, and you can see we've gained acceptance below it. So look, where's the target? Well, for me, the target's down at 6,140, maybe 6,200. Do we go there in a straight line? I don't know. Let's see how this week goes. But look, if we were to get a bounce from here, look, we're tapping into liquidity. And we got some stuff down here around 6,200 if we want to push down a little bit further. But any bounces here, I'm looking for just a retest at best back up into the 65 zone. The reason I like that area, because look, we've been pretty much just downtrending for quite a bit of time, right? You see that on the daily, just downtrend. So we're getting a little bit further away from the trend. We haven't really back tested yet. So if we did pop back up into the 6,500 area, you know, that might be a place to look for continuation down. I might go looking for a short up here. So I'm going to just keep this alert going into this week. Do I think we get a recovery? Maybe. We might get a little bit of a bounce this week, you know. It's not always straight down. So just going to watch this, see how this plays out this week. But this is a level of interest for me to the upside, right? And I'd be looking for shorts up here. The only way I flip bullish, man, is if this thing gets back above 6,500, puts a higher low in, reclaims that zone, and wants to make a run for the top of the range. But other than that, I'm expecting, you know, this over time. Could this chop out and take a few months? Sure, it could just consolidate for a while, but ultimately I think down here is the target. Now look, if we do push down a little bit further, this is the level to watch for a bounce too. 6,200 down to 6,140. Right now we're just sitting right here at this level, just above this liquidity. So I think the first, I guess for my day traders, I'd be looking for the 63.50 as a reclaim going into tomorrow. If we manage to get back above this, right, there might be a shot. That's how we get that back test. So I'd be looking for that in the short term maybe. If we do get back above that, would be like my clue to say, hey, we might be going up a little bit for a couple days, maybe a week or two. So that's the S&P. How's everybody doing tonight? By the way, my name is Eddie. I'm a trader at Tactical Edge Trading. We are not course sellers. We give it to you for free at our website, tacticaledgetraders.com. We're just a community of traders, full-time, new people of all levels. We trade live together. We hang out in the Discord. We post chart setups. We don't give signals, but I mean, I'll tell you like what I'm looking at, levels I'm interested in, plays if they do hit that level. And it's not just myself, it's a bunch of other people. So if you want to check us out, go ahead, tacticaledgetraders.com. Also hit that like, subscribe, and follow. You'll get notifications. We go live 6 days a week, myself and Ben. Ben does lives actually Monday through Thursday, sometimes Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern. Just close, like Ben with the close. You go over the market for the day, the moves, what to watch, the news, you know, whatever's happening in the news, things we need to be watching out for. So anyway, that's S&P. Qs look kind of the same, right? We lost that $24,000 level. We're approaching that 23K, right? We're at that 23K. Really where I think we're headed to is probably down here at this 22 at some point, but doesn't mean we don't get a bounce in the short term. If we push down a little bit more, I expect a reaction at that 22,650 if we don't get it here. So what I'd be watching for going into this week is see this low that we're sitting at right here. I look to see if we reclaim that. If we reclaim that, this sweep just is just a sweep, and we can maybe push back up into that 23,800 for a back test to see if we're going to continue down. Same rule applies here. I take a trend from my top, right? I run it down. That's my hot zone right here. If price makes its way back into this zone here, I'm looking for shorts for myself, targeting a little bit lower. So right now you got some support down at 22,600 for Qs and probably around 24,000 is your major resistance. So we'll see how this plays out. All right. So let's go take a look at gold. See how gold's doing. I think we got a little bounce today on gold. Gold got beat down pretty bad, man. Look, you go up for a while. This was the blow off top. I knew this was a blow off top. I'm like, there's no way this is going to go any higher. And when we started to chop sideways here, you know, for me, this is just always a bear flag at the end of the day. It was nothing more than that. Could we get up to the top? Yeah, possibly. But once it started to break down, I went bearish on gold here. I didn't short all the way down here. I went a lot faster than I expected. But look, we're hitting it. We're hitting an interesting area. I mean, look, we've gotten back into this previous range on gold, right? So that was where we were chopping around before. We flipped it. Now notice how we dipped in, but then we claimed it outside of it. The last time we were above this level, around 4,400, you know, that propelled us up. So I think really what's gonna be the defining point for gold this week for me is, do we lose this? Can we hold this 3,550, 4,400 level? Or if we start to lose that level and gain acceptance back in, I think we're coming back down to potentially down to even 3,900. So, but if we do hold this level, there's a potential we do get a bounce. I don't really have any really key levels. I guess if we got a good bounce, I would say this is probably the big level for me, around 5,000. Psychological level. It's where we dropped. It's where the previous range was at. We were chopping around. So, look, like I said, if this thing gets acceptance back underneath, you know, I'm expecting it to make its way down here. Otherwise, maybe we hold here and then we make a move up. So that's kind of what I'm watching for on gold on the higher time frames this week to see what happens. I don't know if this will happen overnight. You know, it's been a pretty big bleed out. This could consolidate for a bit. U.S. oil. Let's talk about some oil, then we can get into some individual tickers you guys want to look at. But yeah, let's go look at some tickers after oil. So look, oil is just kind of sitting in this little range here. We did break out of the range, but I want to see how U.S. handles this tomorrow. You can see it's just been chopping around, right? So do we like confirm a breakout, or do we just get rejected here and continue to range? So that's really what I'm thinking. We're at resistance. If we get closures back in, then I'm expecting us to make our way back down to the bottom of the range. But if it does break and can hold above this 100, 102 level, then yeah, we're probably making our way back up to this 120. So this is really what I'm watching on gold. It's a very simple play. Gold, oil. And I'm also not trading this because it's just too volatile. It's too dependent on news, and anything that happens, you can't predict it. TAs go out the door. It's just too volatile at the moment for me. Yeah, I can do, what do you guys want to look at? You have 99 extra sourcing my powerful scalping strategy, so don't waste your time. Link in the bio. Have a good one. What's up, Rich? Let me go check out Oklo for you. I gotta go check, see if we have any big news events this week. I don't think we do. Oh, man. All right, so. Look, man, this thing's been beat down pretty hard. You can see it just hasn't been able to find support. It tried to find support here, failed. That became resistance. And now we're starting to attack this next area of liquidity right here, right? So these are weekly levels. We lost the first weekly level, and you see how it became resistance right there? So that we got rejected. So those are the levels you're going to be sitting between right now. So what I would wait for is to see how we open this week. If we can hold this $50 level, I think a retest back up to $60 could be in the cards. Does it go higher than that? Potentially, but I would say one level at a time. If it breaks that, then maybe you're looking up to... Did you know market makers don't care about liquidity? Yeah, Ben, apparently they don't. That's a little inside joke. So I'd watch at $60 level if it does make its way up. And if it breaks that, man, your next level up, really look. Do you see how we just had like this liquidity curve right here? Like, see how like it's just been down? So if they start breaking above this, I'd imagine they're going to start taking all these stops, all the liquidity built up above this, and maybe squeeze them shorts out. But look, one level at a time. If we do drop down, you do have one level below that I'd watch, 45. That's the only other untapped level. It also lines up with a little bit of a CME gap that got put in back in May of 2025. So, you know, that's a level of interest. If you lose 50, 45 is your next level. But yeah, man, you're look, the trend is down until it's not right now. Would I go crazy trying to short into support? Probably not, but I wouldn't go crazy trying to bet the farm on a long. Yeah, I don't even see divergence or anything on the daily. Money flow still coming out. Yeah, and this thing's going to bleed out until it doesn't. I would wait for that strong reaction. You know, anytime you get a major low that gets put in, usually you get like a nice wick. I haven't seen that. You know, it's just been kind of slow grinding, selling down. So I'd be looking for that fast capitulation move. Like, see how that wicks right there? That marked a short-term reversal. Or some divergence. That usually works for me too. Yeah. Y'all want to hear some shit? So, somebody said to someone I know, liquidity don't mean shit. Like institutions don't care about liquidity. This is like paraphrasing, but pretty close to what it was said. They don't care about that retail. It's basically retail versus retail at the end of the day. They just have their own parameters that they enter and exit on, and they don't give a shit about anything else. And there's so many things that went in my head. And I was just like, okay, so if they're if they only the zones were like, how do they get in and out? Like, you need liquidity. Somebody has to sell to you for you to buy. If you're going to sell, someone has to buy from you. So they do need liquidity. It's just like a stupid fucking it's a stupid thing. The worst part is it came from someone who really doesn't understand shit. If they knew what they were talking about, they just made themselves sound really fucking stupid. But anyways, what's up, Kush? Yeah, man, people say dumb stuff sometimes, and I guess they don't think about it. There's like a million answers to that. Like, okay, well, how did they get in the market? If there's no liquidity, you can't get in the market. Like, of course they care about it, especially when they have big money. They care more about it than the little guys because they need it. What was the next one you guys want to look at? Sorry, I'm going off. SMH. I got a new rule, right? If you're going to put a ticker into the chat, you got to give me capital letters. Otherwise, I'm probably not going to see it. Because my eyes kind of draw into the capital letters. So, just to make sure it gets seen. Okay, so this one's interesting. This is Van Eck, right? So, look, we've been trending up since the March-April tariff lows of last year, right? We put in a high here, and we broke that high, and we back-tested it, right? So, that's a major level we need to focus on. Yeah, I'll check out Tesla. I don't think it's going to go anywhere between today and tomorrow. That's the big thing I'm seeing right here. So look, we had a trend. This is a year-long trend. This is not like a bullshit trend. If this was on a 15-minute, I'd be looking to short right now. What did it do? Right? So we lost trend back in early March. And we've been back testing and ranging here, and we failed to break. Now, what gets scary about this for me, right? If you're in Van Eck and you're bullish or you're holding right now, when you lose this level right here, do you see this support? Look at that. Resistance, resistance, support, support. When this drops, you're probably coming down to this wick at minimum. I'm dead serious. Like, that's probably where you're going. Why do I say that? Because when we broke this level, see this low here? When we broke that level, that was the low before boom. And then we cracked it, right? So there's liquidity stacked here for anybody who went long into this pump. They're stacked here and they're stacked here. The reason I say we're probably coming down to here is if you just break this down into the term of ranges, right? Just think about this like a range. That's or an auction house, range, whatever you want to think of. That's the range low. So when you get acceptance back into this range, guess what happens? I know I'm drawing a lot of boxes, but I'm just about to this is about to have a fucking matrix moment for you guys. You gain acceptance back in here, you target the bottom of the range. Right? Just like if we hold here, you would eventually expect that we're going to attack the highs if we don't break down. So you're at a pivotal point, man. Lose this 370, man. This thing could come back down to that 320. Ultimately, I think it does make its way back down to this level here. And it just makes sense. It's just a big target, you know. I think a lot of people would be happy to buy SMH down at sub 300. Especially for the people that like didn't catch this 180 discount down here. And they're probably way too late to the party. Or the people who didn't catch it back in the year, you know, at 80. So, like, the pullbacks do happen here. Let's see what the typical pullback is, right? Look, history doesn't always repeat, but it often rhymes, right? There's, like, that saying. So, when you topped out here, you pulled back about 38%, right? So, what would a 38% pullback from this high be? Let's just use that as a roundabout number. Whew. It'll take you back down to this low right here, around 264. So, it would put you in the ballpark. If, let's say, it played out similar, in the ballpark or down here. That would be a great place to like load up, in my opinion. Not NFA, by the way, guys. But you see what I'm saying? How that's a hot zone, and it also lines up with historically we pull back. So, I'll be watching sub 300 for a target eventually. Doesn't mean it goes there right away. It really is contingent upon 370 being lost. You lose 370, you lose weekly structure, you lose daily structure. It all goes to shit. So. Let's go look at some Tesla, because I think I've seen Tesla like 40 times in the does Tesla have earnings this week? Let me go check some stuff real quick in the background. We got Jolt's job openings on Tuesday. Powell's speaking tomorrow, so that's something we have to pay attention to. What's he speaking on? Let me go check that real quick. Anybody know what Powell's talking about tomorrow? Hopefully it's some bullshit. Oh, he's going to Harvard. Great. Fucking bunch of smart kids are probably going to ask good questions about the economy. He's going to be forced to answer questions and not give some journalistic like response like to reporters and stuff. We got ADP on Wednesday. That's going to be a big one. And, you know, I think jobs are something we're going to be watching because the job market is it's been weakening. And I think that's a big concern for the Fed. So... Anyway, let's go look at Tesla. I got a lot of scribbles here on Tesla, but I did say pretty much what I thought was going to happen. I said if we don't break this trend, we're going to reject, right? It was either plan A or plan B. What do? We're rejecting. We couldn't get back above 385. The target is still in this 350 area for my minimal target. Now, I'm going to get rid of all my TA here because look, I can break this down into like macro, mini macro. We could talk about the weekly, the monthly, and the daily on this thing, or like even the 4 hour. Because like I break it down every day. So look, ultimately lost that trend. March, April low. That was the theme on most of the stocks. We've lost it in the beginning of January. And the big thing here is we lost another key level. This is the most important level to hold. And you see how long we stayed at this level? We were chopping here since November 25 of last year. We've been hitting this level, and we finally cracked it. And look what we did. We flipped it into resistance. So it almost sealed the deal that we were going to fill this low volume gap here. And now we're starting to enter a previous place where we would trade it, another auction house. This is going to be the theme tonight because it's kind of like where we're at. We're moving between higher time frame like trading zones or auction houses or volume, whatever you want to call it. So look, if we start to break back into this 360, my expectations is sub 300. That's your next low. So we need to hold here. If we don't hold here, then it's not looking bueno for our Tesla. You do have a little bit of a downtrend, kind of just, you can just see this right here. Like it's just down until it's not. The trend hasn't been able to break. So I'd imagine if we did get any pop in the next couple days, let's say we do get a little bit of a relief rally or something, my resistance is still this 385. It's still in line with that trend. And it also is in line with the range we broke down from that previous support. So that becomes resistance now. And you're lining up with some support right now. So, it's going to be up or down here. It's got a decision to make at some point. So, maybe it comes up and then continues down. Maybe it breaks up and flips. That's a possibility. Not as likely in my opinion. But I'm not trading it, so I don't really have too high of an opinion on it. And if it breaks down and gets acceptance in here, eventually we make our way back down here. And then I think we see, like if I see sub $300 Tesla, I'll probably be watching it. I think that's a good area. Why do I think it's a good area? Because look, if you go on the higher time frames here, right? Tesla could make its way all the way theoretically, right? Let's just get rid of everything except for my... Right, it could still remain bullish in the higher time frame. In the grand scheme of things, right? Get rid of all my bullshit here. So if Tesla made its way all the way back down to this low here at 220, it would still be bullish in the higher time frames because all it's been doing is trending up, creating new highs. Barely a new high here, though, so that's a little bit, like, that's a macro high. So what I would expect is there's two levels I'm watching to the downside. That really makes sense to me. It was this 280, 290 level and this level down here that lines up with our trend around like 210, 205, that area right here. So if I go down on my daily, you see why that makes sense for me. So like those are like the two areas. If Tesla was going to bounce, I'd be looking for bounces in the like the, you know, high 200s, low 300, and then potentially at the low 200s around 210, 220. Those are the big areas I'd be watching. This is probably the area where I'd probably go like load up for the next couple years. That's just me. NFA, by the way, guys. I'm getting a lot of like, I'm getting a lot of personal opinions on stuff that I'm probably not going to even invest into. I will buy some Tesla though. Tesla is a good one. Maybe some Nvidia at some lower prices. Use VWAP. There's many VWAPs. I use VWAP for day trading. I used to use anchored VWAPs a lot, but I just took them out of my trading because they line up, but they line up usually with other levels. So anchored VWAPs are just like higher time frame swing confluences for me, and I haven't been swing trading. So, yeah, we got big events this week. Gotcha. Makes sense. Reddit. What's Reddit's ticker? Is it just Reddit? No, it's RDDT. Oof. Man, I TA'd this a while back. I was like, this is the range you don't want to lose. You lost that range. I said you're flagging out and you broke down from the flag, right? Like, you see what I mean? Like, this thing's just been down only. So it was bear flagging out. It broke, retested. It's continuing down. You're hitting that. You're close to that next level that I'd watch probably. It's down at like 112, but I think it really doesn't get juicy until you get back down here. Let me use a box down here. So this is the big area below I'd be watching. Between like between 93 and 80 on the higher time frames. Because look, what did Reddit do? It took its high, put in a lower high, and now it's coming down. So it's either going to attack this low. That would logically be the best place to go, right, on the weekly. Because look, that's the next weekly swing low. It's 95, and then you have that 82. Could we get pit stops along the way? Yeah, we have that 112, but it's not really a strong low. You see what I mean? It's just a weekly candle low. It's a daily low, so maybe it has a little bit of a bounce, but it's not a weekly low. Our weekly lows sit below, and our weekly high sits at 150 right now. So anything below 150 is still a downtrend on the weekly. And I'd be looking down here probably to see how that reacts. And it makes sense. Drag this box over, right? That was the previous breakout. There's going to be some support down here if it does make its way down. But yeah, man, this thing's been bleeding out. That sucks. I don't really have too much other TA on it, unfortunately. Like, it's down until it's not, my friend. What happened to Reddit? Like, I don't even know. How did they make their money? That's my question. Like, how do they make questions? Like, I don't know, man. You said ONDS. Let me go check out some ONDS. What's up, Kush? What are you trading, Kush? If you're still on, I know you're always in some fucking degen crypto, probably some altcoin. ONDS falling 6-7. Could, man. I mean, look at this. This don't look pretty, right? This is not a healthy looking chart. You know, it's been up only. There's probably bearish divergence there. There is on the weekly. Momentum shifted down on this high. I think we talked about that before too. And you're attacking the weekly low right now. So this low right here needs to hold. If you don't hold 850, then you're right. You're probably coming down to at least $7, maybe lower. So this is going to be the weekly market low, like the weekly low. You put in a high, you put in a low, you put in a lower high on the weekly. If you break this, that is a market structure shift. That would confirm a downtrend. What else tells me that this isn't a downtrend now, or at least flipping? I mean, look what happened here. We were trending up. We lost that trend, right? We back tested it, and now we're rejecting. So this ultimately is my target. If I was just playing it like, this would be like the ultimate target if I was as a swing trader. You know, you get in somewhere up here on this back test and you look for the move down here. You could also wait to see if we lose that low around $8. And if we back test it, turn it to resistance, this is going to continue down. Otherwise, look, we're close to support. It's support until it's not. We could very well just range out for a while on this thing, right? This thing could just easily do this for a bit. So don't go too bearish trying to short into this. Don't get trapped. But if it does lose it and confirms, it could be a good move down. This also does look a lot like a bear flag too. Like I'm just building a lot of negative cases for it. I feel bad. And that would take you down to even lower than that. But let's just pretend that's not gonna happen. Just saying. Nothing at the moment, just watching Arrow, BTC, US oil. I got a BTC long a little bit ago. I'll show you my long. You guys probably gonna fucking hate me. Like, look, I saw opportunity. Look, I am bearish. I still think in the grand scheme of things, right? BTC isn't a bear flag. But we're at support. We're a little bit underneath, but this is over the weekend. So I don't trust weekend moves. So on Friday, we closed above this trend, and we deviated below it slightly, right? We so I'm thinking if we reclaim this week, we're going to probably get a nice bounce on this thing. Otherwise, it's going to reject here, and it's going to nuke. So, but, I mean, look, the other way to look at it, right, that's a bear flag. But this is what I'm really looking at. And I'm just going to keep it really simple for you guys. It's a range. Go out to your weekly. That's your weekly low, right? And you could argue your weekly high is either here or up here, around 73. 73 would make sense too. But see what I mean? It's just a range at the end of the day. So we're at support. We swept a weekly low, which is also the low before that. It was also the low before the weekend when we had that pump and ran up to like 75K. So yeah, I mean, look, we SFP'd it. That was an entry for me. So I got in when we reclaimed. A little bit earlier today, I got in like right around here. So we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if some people in the Discord are actually in that trade as well. By the way, guys, if you're watching right now and you're not following, you're not subscribed, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that follow. We go live 6 days a week. You'll get notifications when we do go live. Also, check out tacticaledgetraders.com if you want to be part of a trading community. We have free courses. We are not course sellers. We'll give you that information for free. It's on the website, tacticaledgetraders.com. And join a Discord, a real trading community. We live trade together. And yeah, we're a tight-knit group in there. A lot of new faces showing up though, so I'm happy. I'm excited to get to know a lot of new people. So, and if you're in the group and you're listening, but you've been a fly on the wall, haven't really said much, that's cool. But you get kind of what you put in. So if you're active in the community, you're gonna excel. You're gonna learn faster. When I first got in, man, I was talking to everybody. I was posting charts, not afraid to like show my ideas out there. And it helped me grow as a trader. And now I'm fucking live streaming. Anyways. What are you saying? What's going to be 120, 140K by Q4, Pedro? Bitcoin? Is Ben in here still? Bro, we might just be going up by then. I think, look, I'm going to give you some hold into your 67 meta, please. I'm stuck in June calls. Yeah, give me a second. What's up, Parker? I put money into Bitcoin, no knowledge. Should I sell ASAP? That's up to you, man. I can't tell you what to do. I would say if you want to learn how to trade and learn how to be a better investor, you can check out our group, tacticaledgetraders.com. We can help you out as far as learning the information and how to make decisions for yourself, but we can't make them for you, if that makes sense. Look, bro, I'm almost going to give you the hard truth about Bitcoin. Anybody who wants to say we're going to be at 120 by Q4, maybe. But Bitcoin does this really weird thing, right? or it tops out, and then it bear markets for about 1 year. What do you notice about last cycle, right? I'm going to show you the exact top. November 21st, and it was about November 22nd. So like in November, it's like the first week of November, we topped out in 2021. In 2022, we bottomed out about the same time. When did we top out this cycle? And this, by the way, this you can backdate this to other cycles. It's usually about a year. Bitcoin runs off a 4-year cycle, which is modeled off the business cycle. Fight me on it if you want. We can have a big argument on that one. So look, if it topped in October 6th to be exact, where do you think 1 year from now is going to take us if we follow the same model? We're probably going to bottom sometime in October. So sure, could we get to 120K? It's possible because I guess Q4 starts in October, right? But do I think it's highly likely? No, because look, last time we bottomed out, man, like it wasn't just the bottom. Like we went sideways for months and then we slow climbed. People have to build confidence. Like they accumulate at these lows. So like to get back to 120, you know, that's the all-time high. It took us from the bottom to get back to the all-time high just to get back up there. It took us almost 2 years, a year and a half, February of 24. So it took us like a year and a half to get there. So it doesn't happen overnight. But that's just me being realistic. Maybe it does happen. Maybe I'm wrong. Bitcoin's going to 5K. Maybe have a case there too. But yeah, dude. This is some higher time frame thinking for you. Nobody knows what's going to happen. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell you if this is going to happen or not. But I'll just use history as my guide. And my guide says if we are sitting at 50K, 40K, 20K, 10K, if we're sitting at 70K in October, I'm probably going to start looking to buy. If I haven't already started dipping my toes by this summer. But I do think we have one more leg coming down, right? So I'm just going to give you like the higher time frame kind of bearish scenario for whoever thinks it's going to 5K and whoever thinks it's going up to 120. Look, these bear flags tend to play out like the same each time, right? Let me hold on. Adjust this properly, right? So you see how they kind of run the same measured move. So what are we doing right now? We're bear flagging out, guys. Not a mystery, right? Where would a bear flag take us back down to? Could take us back down to 30K. Do I think that happens? I don't know. But I do think this is the level where we watch. I think this is the next obvious level on the weekly. It's sitting down here at 49K, and that's the level I'd be watching for a big bounce. Or at least a bottom, a local bottom. Maybe it is the bottom. Maybe not. Maybe we do what we did last cycle, right? We hit a low. You see how we kind of inverse head and shouldered out? So maybe we do something like this. And this is just speculation, guys, and I'll go back into actual charting and looking at levels. Maybe come down, hit it, shop around in the summer, get one more dip down in October, and then we start to climb, right? Wouldn't that be sick? Play out just like it did last time. I mean, I'm literally just drawing what happened last cycle, and the cycle before, so that would be kind of cool. But it wouldn't be overnight. And also, can we get the 5K? Yeah, sure, but that would be crazy. What's up? What's your name? Laugh now, cry later? Yeah, that's how I felt this weekend, looking at the charts. No, I'm kidding. 40K at lowest could be. Palantir, 250. Let's go look at Palantir. Oof. All right, so look, Palantir is sitting at a very crucial level, right? This 147, 150 level. You see how we've bounced, and we've lost it, and we've reclaimed it slightly, and we've been holding, but now we're losing again. If we don't get back above this level, you are probably coming down to this 125, right? That's the next logical place to go. If we continue down from there, I'm going to go out to the weekly for this. Look, I mean, the only reason we bounced at 125 is this. There is nothing below that. If we get below 125, this thing is coming back down to like 65. That's the next big area below. What did you say? What did you say? Palantir to 250. Now look, the reason I'm pointing this out is because it's bearishly postured. You have a weekly market structure shift, high, low, lower, high, break a structure, and you have your back test. The trend is officially down on the weekly. You see what I'm saying? So when this trend breaks and when you flip market structure again, then you can start talking about 250. But for now, the trend's down. So I think you're getting a little bit ahead of yourself. This needs to find a bottom and needs to reverse. 250 would happen if this trend broke. If it, let's say it gets down here, right? Starts moving down, it decides it's going to bounce off this level. That's the move you'd be looking for, right? But it would need to flip structure, find a low, break structure, flip trend, and make its way up. And the first high is 205. So you'd always remember that it could just be a double top scenario. So it had to get back above that, and then maybe you have a shot at 250, right? So there's a lot of if this, then that. There's a lot of steps required, a lot of hurdles for this thing to make its way back up to 250. So for now, I just say focus on the downtrend. Your level below is 125, and if you lose 125, man, you could come down to sub 70. How much do you make each year? I get that question so much. Look, man, my trading is like on and off. Like I was trading full time for like the last couple years, and then I kind of took a step back, and I'm doing more swing trading, and I trade day trading when I can because I started some businesses, and I'm like taking a more hands-on approach with them. Unfortunately, fucking hate it right now. Eventually they'll get beat back by themselves. So like right now, I'm not making a lot, but I'm making more than I lose. And when I was full-time trading, I was living off of it. You know, I lived a comfortable lifestyle. I didn't have a lot of money to trade with, but had enough that I was paying my bills, stacking a little bit away. Got to go on vacations, got to do fun stuff. So, but I never really kept a tab on how much I'm making. I mean, it's more about percentage, man, at the end of the day. Like right now, I'm probably only making like 2-3% a week if I'm lucky on my amount, on what I'm trading with. When I was full-time trading, like every single day, like in front of the screen at New York, sometimes Asia, you know, I could bring in 5-6%, maybe 10% in a week. So it's a more percentage thing, but I mean, you can make as much money as you want. If you spend it, you don't have shit at the end of the day. So got to live within your means, right? You got to learn how to manage money, think of it differently. Yeah, listen to Kush, guys. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, follow. We go live 6 days a week, myself and Ben. Ben goes live, I think, Monday through Thursdays, about 5 p.m. He does like a market wrap-up thing. It's pretty good. You should listen into it because he does have some good insight, and he's been in the market, and he's made a lot of money doing this. So he's definitely a guy you would want to listen to, if I would say. Most people in our Discord are there because of Ben. He started the whole thing. And, yeah, he's a very, very intelligent trader, very disciplined. If you start coming at him with a bunch of different bullshit like meme coins and altcoins, he's going to laugh at you. But just heads up. But, nah, he's a good dude. If you want to check out the Discord on Killian, you can go to tacticaledgetraders.com. You can join in for free there. Just use an email address, and then you can actually join our Discord. There's a button at the top. It says join Discord, and then you just got to verify. Just a little captcha bot. Make sure you're not a robot or anything. And they'll let you know you'll be part of the Discord. You can check it out. It's just a bunch of us, group of traders. We live trade Monday through Friday. We do live events, group things, accountability groups. We do a lot of things. We post all of our like our learning material. We have a learning library. Most of the stuff's on the website, so the free courses are there. Check that out first. But there's a lot of useful information in the Discord. We had somebody the other day, by the way, on TGE second. Yeah, I got you. I looked at gold already, D-Stang. Look, man, if gold gets back above 4,500, it's got a shot up to maybe 5,000. If it stays below 4,400, man, you're probably making your way down to 4,200. That's the gist of gold right there. I am long as fuck Bitcoin right now, though. I think I'm going to hold that one for a bit if it does get a low pump. Because I got a really, really low swing. Like, I got the swing low, if that is it. Micron, look, man, we talked about MU here. Ooh, this is not looking bullish. I'm going to tell you straight up, this does not look great. It's got a triple top going right now, and we're starting to breach the low, right? Sorry, I'm just doing a little bit of housekeeping here. So, look, this was the high. Let me just walk you through what I see. Go to the weekly. You put in a high right there, and you put in a weekly low right there. You established a range, right? You established a range. What did you do on that last pump? You swept the highs, you took the liquidity above, and now you're attacking the lows. If you do not reclaim this low at like, what, 365, you're breaking down from this range. This becomes a distribution pattern. It's a triple top. It's a common distribution pattern you see in the markets. This would signify a macro high, right? Because, you're breaking structure now on the weekly. Then next level to the downside on the weekly is back down here at like 260. You see what I'm saying? Like it's further down. So a loss of this level could be huge for Micron. It could drop pretty significantly. Does it do it in a straight line? No. What I would look for is, do we get some closures down here? And do we back test and accept this as resistance and then make our way down? You need confirmation first. So this week could open up and we could literally reclaim this, get back in here and make our way back up and just continue to range. As long as we're below it, my thoughts are that it's probably going to go down. So I'd like to see how it opens this week. Reclaims 365, and then you're back in the range. There might be some levels. But really, look, go to your daily, right? Pop a trend in here. See that? As long as you're below that trend, hard to get bullish. Flip that trend, get back above 365. This thing has a shot for a little pop. Does it go all the way back up? Maybe. Who knows? Could be a nice short squeeze, but like I was saying, right now the odds are starting to stack against you because you're starting to consolidate underneath. So we'll see how this week opens up on MU. The link, yeah, let me get it here. I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna tactical traders. I'm gonna just type it in there. It's really simple. TacticalEdgeTraders.com. I just typed in unfair Philly. That's me on the YouTube. For whoever was asking. What else are we looking at, guys? By the way, guys, if you're not subscribe, or hit that follow, subscribe. You'll get notifications to go live 6 days a week. Myself and Ben. BB. What is BB? BlackBerry. Oh, fuck. Is this like the BlackBerry I'm thinking of? Like the phone? Is that still a thing? I'll tell you right now by the charts if it is. Yup. I'm going to tell you why I know this is the regular BlackBerry. Because when did BlackBerry get hot? In the early 2000s. And then it died to smartphones. I bet you this is when the iPhone... Go look up when the first iPhone came out. I'm going to go look it up. Hold on. When did iPhone drop? Come on. Oh, in July 2008. Let's go look. Hold on. Let me go mark off this. Let's love this high real quick. I gotta go all the way back to this. Sorry, I'm being a dick right now. I gotta prove a point. Where's the high? No, the high is right there. It's in June. A month before it came out, it topped. What do you think happened? It dumped on the news, right? It dumped into the launch, and then it pumped after for a lower high, and it just continued down from there. That was the end of BlackBerry. Whoever asked for this, by the way. Sorry for shitting on your stuff. They're still using the military? Yeah, that's crazy. See what I mean? Like, the markets, they show you stuff in the charts, and then, some news comes out that, makes sense. And it makes sense why that one died. But, look, man, you're sitting at support right now. You're pretty much in the dumps right now. This is the lowest it's been in such a long time. I mean, before that ultimate pump back up, the low was in around right here, right? Around $1, $1.50. You're hovering just above that. Your high, right? Your low right now is sitting around $2. So if you lose this 220, you're coming back down to 150. Inversely, look, you're rejecting off this high right here. Let me see where we're rejecting. Around 560, 570. If you break that, then maybe you can break out of this little range here, and maybe you'll get a little pop, a little higher. There's some levels up here around $7, but really up here I'd be targeting if it does break this. Why do I say that? Because look, if you just drag this line over, that was an old range. We were trading here above $6 for a while. We deviated, we pop. But when we lost it, we've been back testing and trying to get back above it. So got to get back above $6 for higher levels, maybe up to $12, $13 up into the top of the range right here. See? Simple TA, guys. At the end of the day, just wait for confirmation. Though, if you do take, like, if this does get back above, by a miracle, then maybe it does make its way back up here. Otherwise, probably down there. So that's really all I can say about BlackBerry. Intraday, there's not really much happening. It's in a downtrend, dude. On the daily, look, you're in a downtrend. Until this downtrend's broken, it's gonna continue to bleed out. Maybe you have some support sitting here around 281 if you do make your way back down here. So you could watch that for like a local bounce, like right around there. So that could be where it's heading, around 280. If it can hold there, then maybe. But otherwise, it's already broken structure on the daily. It doesn't look too great. So, yeah, sorry. I don't own it. They're used by the military. Fair enough, bro. What's up, Serene? Hope I'm doing well. How are you doing? Could you do NVIDIA? Yeah, I'll do NVIDIA. Let me just go look at a few things first. Somebody asked for AMD. Let me go look at AMD, then Meta. Let me go look at Meta, then AMD, because someone asked for Meta a while back. Then I'll go look at NVIDIA. All right, so Meta. Fucking said this a while back. We lost the big trend, right? Multi-year trend from 2022. We've lost that trend. I drew a lot of lines, but ultimately look, here's the trend break. I said the low to watch will be around this 572. You don't want to lose this low. We've lost that. The next target sits around sub 500, around 486. That's probably where we're going. I mean, look, could we back test? Absolutely. We could run back up into this area, but you have to remember this area that we just dropped from, this just under 600, becomes resistance now. So you could get something like that where you back test it. If you can gain acceptance back above it, you still have to get back above this level here, which is around 660-ish. That's the top of this range. You see how the range went? Oh, I got to stop drawing with the mouse. I'm terrible with this. This right here. Do you see what I'm saying? That line right there is going to be your big line. And I just did exactly what I didn't want to do. Sorry, guys. I'm in struggle city right now with my little lines. So that becomes resistance around 676. That's ultimately what you have to break to get bullish again. For now, this is resistance around 570, 580. And your support sits down just under 500, around 480. So that's Meta. AMD. All right, so we're getting a little bit of a bounce. We talked about this little gap here, right, that I left behind, and it became support. This just call it 195, 200. We broke a little bit of a trend, all right? We saw we've hit, and we said, look, what would the target be if we break this trend? It would be the gap. Now we're holding above the old gap, but below the other one. So all we're doing right now at the end of the day is just in a range, right? I'm going to get rid of I'm going to simplify this on AMD. This is what's happening on AMD. So whenever it picks its direction, that's where it's going to head. You start breaking back below this, guess what? It's going to fill this gap back down to here. That's where you're headed. Inversely, if you break up, guess what? You're probably going to fill the gap up here. So it just depends which way it breaks. Does it break up from the range or does it break down from the range? And those are your levels. That's AMD. What do I think about SoFi? Let me go look at SoFi. I'm going in order, guys. My bad. If you think I'm not getting to you, I just want to go in order with everybody's tickers. So I don't think SoFi looks great here. This was the level it had to hold, right? So look, let's just go back. Let's just draw this out. Broke a trend, right? It lost this trend here, right? That was back from April last year. Back tested it, and we've been running down. So ultimately, this is probably the target. This is probably my target here, down at like sub $9. But we did have an area we're interested in, well, I was interested in, which is sitting here around 17. I said, look, if we can hold this previous high, that there's a potential bounce. And we did get a little initial reaction. You see that weekly candle right there? You got to bounce, but you lost it. So now this is resistance. 17 bucks is your resistance. Your next support on the daily doesn't come in until you get down here into this like $12, $13 zone. This is weekly support down here around 850. That's the bigger level. So these are your levels to the downside to watch. 1250 is like a medium support. A bigger level is going to be down at that 9 bucks. And resistance sits at 17. So right now you got to see how this plays out. If it gets back up here, it could always just do that. You do have a little bit of a trend kind of running down too, so you can track that. See what I mean? You kind of connect the lines here. There it is. So you got a little bit of a trend. So that would be your first signal. If you can break above trend and get back above 17, maybe it flips bullish. You know, I'd want to see this to get bullish again. Otherwise, it's probably down here to this 1250 and potentially down to that 9 eventually. So that's SoFi. I don't think it's going to... Look, it doesn't look great right now. I would say wait for lower. Maybe it's this summer. Short Tesla back to 120. Yeah, it'd be crazy, right? Let me go look at NVIDIA for Serene. I think I saw you in the Discord, Serene, by the way. I haven't been too active in it the last week. I kind of had to take a break from fucking trading. I mean, it was so busy last week. And it's just the market hasn't been the most conducive, like, to want to trade. I'm just like, I don't want to even look at this shit. You're going down, you're breaking structure, and the next thing you know, we're pumping up because of some fucking tweet Donald Trump throws out there. All right, so that's the level, man, 150 on NVIDIA. The big thing I saw, look, we're coming up with another support here, so I expect a little bit of reaction. This is the bottom of the range right here that we've been trading in. It's around 164. But ultimately, I think we do get down to 150, potentially lower. If we lose 150, then you're looking back down here sub 100. Right? This is your next big level down here. So, but let's talk about what's happened here. One, we've printed the head and shoulders. We talked about this head and shoulders a couple times. At least I have. All right? You got that head and shoulders right there. What else do we have? Well, we lost the neckline. This is your neckline. It was established neckline. It was pretty decent, right? We were chopping here for a while. We lost it. We tried to regain it. We lost, and we were breaking down. So the next logical level is this 164. If we lose 164, 150 is probably coming. But otherwise, that's support for now. And resistance is still up here at this 193. I hate to say it, but this is the top of the range. That's the level to break. So that's pretty much what's happening in NVIDIA. It's down until it's not. If you go in on a daily, pop a little bit of a trend right here. Just follow that. As long as it's below trend, it's probably going to be bearish. You know, you just wait for the pumps back in. Look for that short until it doesn't do that anymore. Until it breaks and flips. You know what I mean? Let it prove it to you, though. But for now, the trend is down on NVIDIA. Can it still pump back to 180? It could. But in order for it to get back to 180, it has to start breaking structure. And right now, like it's got to hold at one of these levels. It's not catching support at 170, so maybe 164 holds, and maybe we do get that bounce. Because that would logically be the next daily high, right? The daily high sits up here at this 180. So it would have to start to flip structure, flip trend to get back up here. So it's got a lot of hurdles. If you're watching, guys, and you are not following, you're not subscribed, my name is Eddie. I'm a trader at Tactical Edge Trading. We go live 6 days a week, and by me, I mean Ben, myself. Ben does lives, I think, Monday through Thursday, sometimes Fridays around 5 p.m. Eastern for the close of the market, the New York session. I go live around 9:30 Eastern. Usually Sundays, Mondays, and I throw in a Friday, sometimes another day midweek. But we're live multiple times a week, about 6 days of the week. So we do live analysis. We talk trading. You can ask us questions about trading if you're interested, or if you want to become a trader and want to learn this stuff, check out our website, tacticaledgetraders.com. We have free courses. We were not going to sell you any courses. We'll give you all that info for free because, to be honest with you, most of that info is already out there on the internet. You don't have to pay for it. If someone's trying to sell you a $5,000, $6,000 course for some gatekeep secret, it's probably bullshit anyway. And it's probably just some rebranded shit. that already exists out there. Trading's not difficult. People make it difficult. They try to make it sound hard so they can sell you courses. That's not what we do. So if you want to join a real group of traders, tacticalhedgetraders.com. We also have a Discord where we trade live and we hang out. I post my charts. Other people post their charts, their ideas. Not a signals group. Check us out. Yeah, I'll check out BWXT. Bro, you can't predict overdraws. Just use your gut. Yeah, Michael. Fair enough, bro. You can't predict overdrawings. Drawings are just visual tools, my dude. I don't predict markets anyway. If you've been paying attention, if it breaks this, then this. If it does this, then that. It's if then this. It's a reactive game. I let the market tell me which direction it's gonna go, and I just find my way to get in, to ride the wave. That's all, man. We don't predict which way it's gonna head. But yeah, man, if your gut says go up and you're making money, go do your thing, dude. I'm not gonna sit there and talk shit about it. Yeah, no problem, Serene. Can you not see the numbers? You're probably zoomed in on TikTok. So look, 164 is your support. If you lose 164, it's 152. Otherwise, if you can hold 164, you might get a bounce. Your resistance is going to still be a little bit lower than that. Your resistance is like 175 right now, but you might be able to get back up to 180 if you want to test the day. If they decide they're going to go test the daily high, that's your daily high. So sounds like gambling based on gut instincts. It is. I mean, anybody who says that they're using their gut or using just pure fundamentals to take trades, they're probably not getting the best entries and exits. Maybe it works for them if they're not like they're playing a spot game, but I don't know. What are the levels that Ben recommends to add to your chart? I could tell you. I mean, I'm not Ben, but I know Ben uses daily and weekly levels. So you go to your daily chart, your weekly chart. He uses, for intraday trading, he will use sessions. So he'll look at the London to Asia session from the previous night. He'll mark out the highs and the lows. Outside of that, and he uses horizontals like big levels that are obvious, but it's usually daily, weekly levels for Ben. And then, I mean, he will use VWAP every once in a while, but that's just more of like a where we're at in price. He doesn't trade VWAP, so yeah, daily, weekly levels, dude. And if you're trading it as a day trader, then just go look at your sessions, your London, your Asia, those kind of things. So broke 2022 lows, yeah. I appreciate that, Brooklyn. Lulu is in the dumps. Do I trade options? No, I trade futures. We do have some options traders in the group. I'm just not an options trader. It's just a different way to trade. Oof. Yeah, we did say Lulu has to hold that level, right? So if we can't hold that level and get that bounce, which we didn't, we broke, but we didn't get the bounce. I said the next level down is this wick. It's coming for this wick. Down at 128. That's the next stop in my opinion. Unless it gets back above 160. Got to get back above 160, otherwise it's down. Draw this trend a little bit further up, right? We're in the downtrend. Go to the daily, you can see it. So there's your trend on Lululemon. And that's your resistance right there around 160, 159, 160. Otherwise, it's back down to 128, 130. That's where I'd be looking for a bounce. SMCI, no, I haven't done that yet. Super microchips. Let me see what else we look. Apple. What's APPI? I'm gonna go look at Sony and Hood next. I did miss those. Let me go look at look at this shit. Look at all the drawings I have. All right. So look, I'm gonna get rid of some of my squiggles. I said there's the possibility. We left a gap behind after we broke down from this consolidation on SMCI, right? We lost trend. Bigger picture, we've lost trend on this thing. We've broke down. We flagged out, and then we broke down from that flag. We even had that drawn out while it was flagging. I said if it breaks up, it's going to pop. We got to get back above 35. Otherwise, it's coming down. My first level was 25, but you could see it shot right down below it. So let me get rid of some of these drawings real quick. So what are we doing right now? We're back testing into the gap that we created. See this little gap? This is a gap that happened when the markets were closed and it opened up a different price. So there's no big market, there's no participants there. This is retail volume, this is futures. This happened when the markets were closed. So it's now acting as resistance, and it will continue to act as resistance until we break in and get acceptance. So either it's going to reject here and come down to test this $17 level, or it's going to gain acceptance back in and make its way potentially back up to $30. So I'd say 28.30 because this zone right here is a hot zone. See where I'm drawing right there? Somewhere in that area is where I'd be looking. It's also a back test of the range it broke down from. So for now, it's catching resistance. There's no reason to get bullish yet until this starts to flip. Otherwise, it's down to 17. So your resistance right now is around 23, 24 bucks. I need Nvidia and Amazon to bounce back. I feel that, Luke. Are you down on your position, I'm guessing? Let's go look at Hood and Sony. Sony's getting beat to shit. Look, man. Sony took out that high on the weekly, right? And it lost that high. It left a lot of breadcrumbs behind, but it is what it is. There's the downtrend, and you're losing major support around 20 bucks. You need to get back above 20 bucks and get back above this trend to get bullish again on Sony. See what I mean? Like, it's starting to consolidate underneath. So as long as it's underneath 20 bucks, the next target down, well, you're sitting at the target now, but the real next target's down here. If it can't hold this level, this is where you're headed to, about 1740. You can see it's the next weekly low, right? Lose this weekly low, we're coming down to here, 1740. And you got that trend that can kind of tell you when it's going to flip or not. As long as it keeps rejecting off of it, that's my expectation. It's going to make it way down there. So, but if it does flip, look, your real big resistance sits still up here around 23 bucks. You get back above $23, maybe you make your way back up to 25. But for now, it's 20 bucks resistance. You get above that, then 23 is your next. So, oh, Bitcoin is running. Oh, did your boy just catch the low? See this wick right here? That's me. I'm gonna draw a little arrow here for you guys so you can understand what I mean. That's where I got in. A little bit higher, like right there. Why did I get in there? For anybody who's curious, go to your weekly. All right. Let me get rid of all my TA. You go to your weekly chart. We put this weekly low in last week before the pump, right? So this was last week's low, or like 2 weeks ago, actually. It's back in the beginning of March. Whenever we decide to pump up to 75K, we'll put that low in, right? We just took that low out. That's all it was. It wasn't anything. There was no rocket scientist. It was just this. We swept this low here before the last pump, the bottom of the range. That is the way I look at it. If you look at it like this, you took the liquidity. This is support until it's not support. It's got to prove itself. People like to get bearish when we're down here, like at lows, but we haven't broken anything major. So, we'll see. Maybe we catch a little bit of a bounce. Maybe we don't. So far, so good, but we'll see. I'm also long ETH, but ETH was a little bit tougher of an entry for me. I had to get in on this low here. And when I see big wicks like that, I watch. I pay attention. So, but yeah, that's my trades right now. Thoughts on HIMS being oversold? I don't know. Go look at it. Do you know why HIMS is oversold? All right, so look. So GLPs, I think they got, especially HIMS and a lot of the big farmers that are running the GLPs. I heard that they're running through a lot of lawsuits, or like they're trying to get patents approved on marketing other GLPs, and they're like how they just, you know, how it's like injected, like their injection method, how you get the enzymes or whatever in your stomach. Anyway, the peptides at the end of the day. So apparently all that stuff is there's cheaper versions of it, and people are just not going with the name brand shit anymore. They're going with the cheaper, easier made stuff, because now we're getting off brand. And if you're paying all this money for this shit that's like the hottest drug right now, hottest weight loss drug, and you can get it cheaper, they're going to go with the cheaper version. At least most people will. But look, here's the thing on HIMS, man. We lost that weekly trend, right? And I've said this a while back. I'm like, don't lose this trend, right? We lost it. And what are we doing? We also lost this $24, $25 level. We back tested it. We put in a gap when we pumped, right? So look, we're back testing now. But we left behind a nice CME gap. So what are we doing? We've gained acceptance back into the gap. I think we're going to come back down to the $17 level, and then we're going to have a decision to make. Do we hold and get a higher low and continue up, attacking this high we put in around $27, or do we come here and take this low out at 14? So for now, it's down until it's not. What I would watch is go down to your lower time frames, take this trend, pop it from the top, watch that. When this trend breaks and you start to see a market structure shift on the 4-hour, then you probably have a shot at getting back up to 27. So if it does this, breaks, puts in a higher low, breaks that high, and continues up, you know, maybe you do make your way up here. Otherwise, it'll just continue down until it doesn't. I know it's weird. It's like down until it's not, but we'll see. We'll see if it can hold. I think $17 does get tapped though before any bounces happen. Thoughts on? But yeah, I mean, look, it's been sold off. So if I'm looking at it on the weekly, like, yeah, it's been sold to hell. But this is not a small. Remember I talked about triple tops earlier and how they're big distribution patterns. Look at that. Put in a high, we came and put in a triple top, lower high. So this is a macro reversal at the end of the day. So, but I also think it probably is oversold. So if I get rid of everything here and just look at it for what it is, you know, this is a low. If we can put a higher low in here, then I expect this thing to make its way up a little bit. And the big levels I'm watching above on HIMS, if we do get a bounce, 33. Obviously the high we just put in around 27. And a little bit higher up here, this is the big level, around 40, if we do get a big bounce. Why 40? Because that was where we were ranging before we broke down. We back tested and we dumped. And it's been pretty much straight down since then. So I'd be watching these levels to the upside. 27, 33, and 40 if we do get a bounce here. This ends up being a higher low. Otherwise, your levels to the downside are around $17 and about $14. Those are your two big levels to the downside on HIMS. I have no idea what you just said, Big Cat. Sorry, buddy. Let me go look at this to see Southern Copper Corporation. What the hell is this? By the way, guys, if you're not following, you're not subscribed, hit that follow, hit that subscribe, hit that like. Help out the channel. Also, you'll get notifications when we go live 6 days a week, myself and Ben. Also, check us out, tacticaleducators.com. Free courses and a free Discord. You can join Discord from that website. Just got to hit the join Discord and do a quick verification, and you're good. It's just to make sure you're not a bot. So 142 is the level I'd say I'd be watching to the downside here. There's another level down here around 117, and your weekly high sits at where it's at now, man. The high of right now on 223. I go down to my daily, look, that's your support. 142 is your next level. If it continues down, that's probably where it's headed. If it loses 142, then 117, 118 could be in the cards. If you get a bounce here, I'd be watching for resistance right here around 182. That was the range we were in before. You see how we were ranging around? We lost the range. We back tested. Now we're headed down. So if we come back up here, I expect resistance. If it breaks back in, then maybe we have a shot back up to the highs. So those are your levels on SCCO, Southern Copper Corporation. Do you think Tesla's heads to the next bottom? Look, I don't think we're going in a straight line. I do think we're going to get a little bounce this week. That's just, don't trade off of it, but I just see the sentiment right now. I see how bearish we left off on Friday. Oftentimes, they usually tend to squeeze out some of those shorts before a bigger move down. So I do think we're probably going to get a little bounce, but I don't think it's going to be long-lived. And I think if you're holding stuff and you're looking for an opportunity to get out, I would be selling on any rips. I wouldn't be waiting for all-time highs or anything anytime soon. You were calling out tickers. Oh, I got you. I'll look at one of those. I'm not going to look at all three. Sorry, I'm just tired today, guys. I've had a long weekend. Not a good long weekend. It's a bad long weekend. KOS, look, man, this thing looks like shit. You're at support. You got to bounce, right? Your range high sits up here. You can see that on the weekly. Everything in between that's in the middle of the range. You know, maybe you got a little resistance up here. You can kind of see we've gotten bounces at this level here before. So around 450. So if you continue up, maybe 450 is the level to watch. To the downside, you know, those are just the weekly levels. For now, the trend is up, right? So take your trend line, pop it in from the low, and boom. As long as you're above that, you know, the trend's up. If you start to lose trend, then maybe you start to come back down to this low around 74 cents. There's always that potential. But as long as it's above that, I would say 450 is probably your target at some point. Maybe a little lower. You know, there's some highs here. It could just get rejected at, but watch that trend. Watch those levels. Let me go look at MSFT. Dude, I feel like I look at Microsoft every week and I say the same thing. It just doesn't look good. We lost a major trend. We're at support, though. That's the good thing, right? See this level here? We're like sitting at the support. So look, man, you want to hold 350, 354. You start deviating below this and you start losing this level, it's not going to look good. It's, you know, you're coming back down to 300 and potentially back down to 200. But ultimately, like, look, it is an uptrend, right? In the higher time frames. You go to the monthly. What's it doing? It's been in an uptrend for a long time. But if you go down to your weekly, like your local, from the lows in 2022, right? Just take a trend line up, right? We lost it the first time, right? And now we're bouncing. But if you take it from here, see what I mean? Like, it created a larger trend, and now we're losing that larger trend. So it started flipping bearish for me in 2025, but then we had that blow off top back in September. I forget what that was for, but look, those are your resistances. That's the trend. You need to get back above. So you got to get back above 411 to even flip a level on the weekly. Otherwise, you're looking down to 350 for support. And if you lose 350, then you're looking down to 300 on MSFT. You go to your daily. Look, you just take a trend line. It's the same thing for everything. Look, you know, as long as you're in that downtrend, it's down until it's not, guys. But maybe we do get a bounce this week. We'll see. You said now is the time to slow up and buy them dips. I mean, hey, man, that's how you trade. That's how you trade. Don't let me tell you. It's not what I do personally. But Apple. Also, guys, I got like 46 people watching here on TikTok. I appreciate you guys all for being here. But if you're not following or you're not subscribed, hit that follow, hit that subscribe, hit that like. You help out the channel, and you also get notifications to go live 6 days a week. If you're interested in becoming a trader, if any of this stuff, or learning just how to read the markets a little bit better, check out tacticalhedgetraders.com. We have free courses Ben put together. You'll become a pro by the end of that, I promise you. Not a pro trader, but a pro at understanding the charts, understanding what half the shit I'm saying when I talk about liquidity, sweeps, all this kind of stuff. You'll have a good foundation, and then you can build from there. Tweak it however you like. Check out the Discord as well, tacticalhedgetraders.com. Discord, you can join right from there. You're deep in NVIDIA. It's going sideways. Yes, hate to say that, man. Somebody asked for Apple. They did ask for Apple. Why don't I know what Apple's ticker is? It's AAPL. Oh, that's why. Look, Apple higher time frames. I gave this short out, by the way. So look, higher time frame. You're in the channel. You're rejecting off the top of the channel. I gave the short out right up here, by the way, in the Discord. It wasn't a signal, but I said this is where I'm going short. It's up here in this 280 zone, and we never broke back above it. Look, we put in a lower high. We broke the trend from the tariff lows, right? You see that strong trend up from the bottom of that channel that I was talking about? Let's see how, look how beautiful that is. Do you see what I'm saying? Like how I've just been following that. So where do you think we're going? If we're rejecting off the top of the channel, and every time we've rejected, we went to the bottom of the channel. And we've also lost a trend that started at the bottom of the channel that took us up to the top of the channel. Where do you think we head? Guess. There's a big arrow on the screen that says exactly where I think we're going. Do we get there in a straight line? I don't think so. But I think ultimately we're down to this $200 level. Maybe a little bit higher, but I think that's going to be an area where I might start to dip my toes in Apple. Otherwise, look, locally, we still have support sitting around 242, 244. As long as we're above that, you know, it could just range up here for a bit. But you see what happens if we lose that? That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the breakdown. I'm looking for the retest of this level, and I'm looking for the continuation. If we lose this, we're coming down pretty fast. There's not much volume below this. I could show you right here on the VRVP. Volume just fades. See how it just dies out there? So it could be a quick move down here. So that's what I'm watching on Apple. 242, 244 is your support. And I would say your most immediate resistance is around 255. Right? You can see when we broke down here, we started ranging slightly, and we put in a little bit of a local range. You could probably see it a little bit more better on the 4 hour. There it is. See? So that's our high. It's around 250, 255. This area up here. So those are your levels on Apple. I've already did NQ. I did that in the beginning. It's like the second or first one I've done. If you want to go back to our YouTube, you can actually rewind these. These are recorded on YouTube. I'm going to look at two more, then I think I'm going to jump for the night, guys. It's been going for about an hour and a half. Got to get those likes and subscribes up for me, guys. I've been going an hour and a half, and I think I haven't even topped my last stream. It was like I went for like 50 minutes, and I had more follows. But there's more people watching now, so I don't want to hear excuses. Nah, you'd help out the channel. You also get notifications when we go live. So I appreciate if you do. All shit talking aside, we do appreciate it. And then you'll get free, you know, like you come here and I'll, you know, you'll get notifications, and I'll be the first. You can be the first one to pop your ticker in the chat, and then you can get your analysis. I feel like I'm feeding a bunch of like chart fiends over here. So look, here's your uptrend on BWX. All right, we're still holding it. It's not bearish yet. On the weekly, it's still holding, but it's consolidating. You can see how we've been hitting that 220 multiple times, right? Many weeks. You see what I'm saying? Like how we've been hitting this. So look, there is a bullish case here and a bearish case. I'm going to paint it both. 220 is your resistance. Right now, I would say in this immediate moment, 190 is the lowest you want to go. If you start breaking below 190, I think this is probably most likely coming down a lot further. You can see why. I'll show a little line right here. One, we lose the range, right? We also lose the trend if we lose this level. So if we break down here, I'm expecting this. A bigger move down. My first target is going to be here, this level around, I'd say anywhere from 163 down to maybe 160 would be a nice zone to watch for a potential bounce. But ultimately, if this does, you know, if this is a bigger correction, I think you're coming down to 135, maybe lower. You know, those are the big levels. I'd say 135 will probably have a good reaction there. And in the short term, if we do break down, then maybe around that 160 level. Now, look, we haven't lost trend yet. I'm just speaking if this, then that, right? So, look, there's always the case that we hold this trend. And as long as we stay above this trend for me and stay above that 180 level, well, not 180, I'm sorry, 190 level that I talked about, then, you know, it's going to keep hitting its head against this 220. And at some point, it's either going to break up or down. Now, if it doesn't break down, it's either going to continue sideways or eventually break up. So I'll be looking for the flip of 120 for the continuation. It's got, for me to get bullish here, you know, as a swing trader, I would want to see the flip of 220. Maybe Maybe there's a swing long down there, but I'm not taking it. I'd rather see like continuation, because right now the market's got to prove it to me. You know, it's in the prove it phase, because I'm not risk on. I don't think many people are risk on. I would say the market's telling us it's a risk off environment, so you got to let the market prove this is the outlier and it's going to run up. So, but those are your levels on BWXT. Let me look at Soxel real quick, and then IONQ. I mean, look, you're holding trend still. That's the good thing, right? So you're still. I gotta get rid of all this shit. So you're still above trend on OSXL. So as long as you're above that trend, you know, I can't get too bearish. You're in an interesting zone right now, because look, why are you guys interesting? Well, you broke out. You were, you know, ranging in this zone before. So we're just retesting this area. So can we hold the trend? Can we hold above this low at 35, 36 bucks? If we can do that, then I think, you know, it's hard to get super bearish on it. Where I start to flip is if we get back below this trend here. I start seeing this thing low, break, I get a little bit more bearish. Also, if I just want to look at it from a different view here and just give you some actual levels to watch, not just a trend. Look, you're below resistance right now, right? You're slightly below the range. That's $50.70. As long as you're below that, it's hard to get bullish in the short term. So it's going to be down until it finds support. If you do flip this $50.70 area, then I expect a little pump up maybe to 58, and then potentially if you break that up to 72. Those are the two levels I'd watch. But right now, I think this is more likely. And then, like I said, that level below to watch really is that trend. You want to see if this trend holds. If it doesn't hold, hey, probably coming down to this 36, potentially this $30 to $29 level. So that's SOXL. I don't recommend to sell any. Serene, I can't give like levels when I recommend to sell. I can just tell you the levels. Sell Tesla. I don't even know where you like. I mean, it's bearish right now. If you didn't sell, I mean, obviously, look. Here's a rule I kind of follow. Let's say I'm in a position and I didn't put a stop loss. Do I want to sell when it's been in a downtrend for fucking 3 months? Probably not. I probably want to wait for the first little pump. Whether it's back up here and I start to sell right here, or it's maybe a little higher, you know, and you sell up here, but like, you know, you're in a bleeding asset right now. So it's like, do you want to hold on and wait for the bounce, or do you want to sell and just get out now and cut your losses? That's the question you have to ask yourself. If we did get a bounce on Tesla, I'll be watching that 385, 388 area as resistance. If it gets back up there and it can't break through, that's probably the spot I would say cut your losses and walk away. That's just my opinion. NFA, not financial advice, guys. Yeah, listen to Kush. Hit that like, hit the subscribe, guys. You help out the channel. We appreciate it. I appreciate it. IONQ. Yeah, I said I was going to do like 3 ago. 2 more. I have a lot of fucking TA on this thing, but I'm going to paint the bearish picture for you. What's that? It's a head and shoulders, my friend. So look, you lost the neckline here, right? Let's just draw it straight across. You see what's happening here? So you lost that neckline, that major support around 36 bucks. It became resistance when you broke down and you retested. Remember, I keep talking about these breakout retests. This is what I mean. This is confirmation that they want lower. The next level, unfortunately, is down here. Sits sub 20 bucks. Can we get bounces before that? Yes. I'm going to just pull a fib real quick. See if we got any confluences. Nope, we lost it. Now it's probably going down there. I could maybe see if there's any daily levels. Nah, see, there's not even any good daily levels. See how it's straight up? It's going to come straight back down. I'd say 20 bucks is the first place I'd be watching for this thing. In the short term, though, if it does have any bounces, you know where the resistance is at. It's at that $36, $37 level. So, you know, 20 bucks or 36 to go higher. So, and then look, if you just take everything away, it's a common theme here, right? Just take a trend, kind of run it down. See what I'm saying here? As long as it's below trend, it's going to continue to go down. What's it doing? It's just hits the trend, bear flags out, breaks down. Bear flags out, breaks down. If you were to take the measured move of the bear flags, right? Just about there. So somewhere about here, maybe. I mean, this shit takes us back down to $8 if that actually plays out, but hopefully not. That would suck, wouldn't it? Yeah, I would watch. Like I said, I would be watching this level down here around 20 bucks. That's the first place I would look. Satchel protect. I'm gonna go look at this thing. What makes you bullish on this? Because it's pumping. I mean, look. Here's the thing. If it can hold this level here, then maybe. You got to stay above 546. 546. There's a little bit of a cup and handle maybe potential pattern there. It's not the cleanest looking one, but look, if it stays above that, this is the level you're going to. On the monthly at least. Let me go look at the weekly. Yeah, I mean you got a little bit of a wick up here around $7 and something cents. 7.18 maybe. That's where you know the next mini level. So look, the idea is stay above this 546 and you can make your way up to 720. You break 720, you're probably going up to $10 on this thing. But look, see it's already starting to back test. So we'll see. We'll see. It's going to make a decision this week, though, I'd imagine. Cool. Maybe it has potential, man. Let's see what the momentum looks like. Doesn't look terrible. I wouldn't go long right now, though. That's just me. What do you think about Netflix? I think we went over Netflix already, didn't we? Wow, I don't even know I don't even know the ticker for Netflix, guys. I'm like half retarded right now. Excuse my language. I think we went over this one. I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah, we went over this one. Wait, no, we didn't. We didn't. All right, so I'm getting my tickers mixed up. All right, so look, here's the thing on Netflix. You had a big pump off a major level, right? You swept the liquidity at this $82, $83 level, and you've gotten a pretty big reaction here, right? Uh-oh. Well, I just got booted from TikTok. I'm going to cut the live, guys. You guys have a good one. TikTok just kind of banned me for some reason. So, yeah, I'm still on my long kush. Anyways, I'm going to jump, guys. I got to figure out what the hell's going on here.